All right, so here's something that just hit me, and I like to say it out loud. You know the DSM, right? Like the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. It's basically this book that therapists and psychiatrists use to diagnose mental conditions. Every disorder in there comes with a list of criteria, but one of the core conditions across the board, according to the best of my knowledge, is that it only counts as a disorder if it interferes with your daily functioning. So, seems fair on the surface, but here's where it starts getting weird. A lot of disorders, especially the ones we like to call neurodivergent, are heavily defined by whether or not someone can function socially. For example, can you hold conversations normally? Do you fit into the workplace or school structures? Do your behaviors disrupt typical social dynamics? But hold on, that's where things get dicey. Have you looked around lately? Most of society is already dysfunctional. People are rude, fake, selfish, performative, distracted, constantly burned out, and we're measuring people's mental health by whether they can blend into that. So essentially you're saying I have a disorder if I can't function inside a system that doesn't function in the first place. Rude. Take narcissistic personality disorder, for example. Not just being a narcissist, but NPD, like the clinical diagnosis. You only get that label if your narcissistic traits are messing up your relationships and your ability to navigate society. Otherwise, you're just confident or a CEO, right? Same goes for ADHD, autism, borderline, whatever. It all comes down to, can you play nice in a broken sandbox? I mean, it's wild that the same goes for ADHD, autism, borderline, it's like, if, you can have narcissistic tendencies, but not be diagnosed with NPD because, well, you're functioning perfectly well in society as a CEO or, an overconfident, cocky, really obnoxious person who's just going around getting everyone to bend to their wishes. But when you have ADHD, autism, or whatever, it's suddenly, oh, okay, you're not fitting into the box that we prescribe to you. So, and yeah, so if you can't fit into society, it's not the sandbox that gets questioned, it's you. We've got this unspoken standard from what normal functioning means, but it's never actually defined. It's just expected. There's just this, invisible matrix that's floating in midair of people expecting each other to perform in ways that have never been clearly defined. And even if there is an unspoken expectation that's somehow been communicated, the expectation keeps changing and is not rational at the very least. Wake up early, work 9 to 5, smile politely, stay productive, don't make people uncomfortable, don't need too much, don't be too intense, don't feel too much. But what if you're not built for that, right? What if your wiring doesn't match this default social operating system that's already glitchy as hell? That doesn't make one disordered, right? It makes you aware. It means you're paying attention. I'm not saying that mental illnesses are not real. They are real. They're very real. And for a lot of people, diagnoses are life-saving. But let's not pretend that the criteria for these diagnoses aren't shaped by the very society that we live in. How we define functionality, who gets to set the rules, and what kind of minds we're willing to accommodate. Because sometimes the problem is not you, it's the system that you were told you were supposed to function in. And if the system's broken, maybe not fitting in is the sanest response of all. Yeah,